better.
Oh my gosh. Do people,
The joys of rural
how
internet.
is the internet there?
It is
Okay.
spotty. So
I call it good, bad. We have two different internet connections. One of them is halfway okay, and then the other one's actually okay.
1.5
so yeah,
internet connection. Yeah.
1.5. Semi-satisfying. Yeah. But yeah, long story short, we can't have people at the house. It's too
That's what we
risky.
were talking about.
Because there's just not enough space for us to like be socially away. And most of our, or like a good majority of our residents usually are coming international from the States or abroad. And so yeah, that's just kind of off the table for us at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a weird thing because, like, consider like how you're supposed to keep to
Yeah.
a bubble. So, like, if somebody came and stayed with us at the residency, like, there would have to be a quarantine period for them to come and be here, or a clean COVID test, and then they'd become part of our bubble. But that would expand our bubble, which would limit who we could interact with.
You need like a.
So, like, we would have to sacrifice our family.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
What
don't
about
really want
you?
to sacrifice
There's
family.
no bubble.
How's it? How's it been affecting you?
I feel lucky because I'm just I work at home all the time now. We got rid of our co-working space. I don't know why I air quoted co-working. it was a real co-working space. Yeah, and now, my husband and I just work at home all the time. And I guess I'm really lucky that I have my like studio space that is now my office / everything space. But I totally, you don't see people all day, which,
No,
that's
definitely different. Well, we're super excited to have you joining us, and I'm so glad that Ryan put us in contact with you because your work is really awesome.
Thank you.
And like important, and I think like you and Kyle could really get into some chats about making work about environment and climate change and being proactive about just like having those hard discussions. So if you don't mind, we would love if you kind of introduced yourself and introduced your practice before we get started with the share.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. I've never done anything like this, so I see people coming on, but I don't know if anyone's actually watching us or listening. I should have told my dad. I always do my dad at noon. Anyway, I'm flattered that you guys asked me because I think many of the people that you have had are like true fine artists. Like Winnie is like a fine artist. I am, not to denigrate myself, just like a doodler, Instagram kind of artist, cartoonist person.
Hey.
And I actually work full time in climate communications now, but I still just try to do art on the side whenever I can, and I do like comics and like climate comics for a bunch of solution these are warranted air quotes, solutions journalism publications. And I guess, did I answer your question? I mostly make comics.
Your name is
My
Sarah.
name is Sarah. My name is Sarah. Thank you. I'm really tired. By Friday, I'm like third cup of coffee and like just get through the day.
We're on to number 2 already.
Yeah.
This is my half. My second. My. I always have 2.5 and like sip it really slowly.
I
like
feel
1.5 internets.
I think the work is really important, and I think like part of what's been really fun about this is that we get to have conversation with artists that are doing all sorts of different things. So we had Winnie, but we've had like writers, and we've had textile designers and surface designers, and everybody's kind of coming at the challenges of right now in a new and different way, and their work is discussing a lot of different topics. So I think you kind of undersold yourself there a little bit. And, I think that the work that you're making is like talking about something that's like really important, and it's saying it in like a smart and interesting way. So, I'm super excited. It was fun going through.
Sorry, I have a 5-minute Instagram warning because I set my thing to only let me go on Instagram for 5 minutes a day. No, for 10 minutes a day. But I don't think it won't cut off. It'll give me the option to, Yeah, because I felt like I was scrolling through too many pictures and like looking at it too much. So now I let myself do it for 10 minutes a day.
That's smart, actually. I feel like I would always be like, ignore.
Yeah. Well, some days I do. I've ignored it before when I'm like, no, I really want to look at this page.
I can completely sympathize with that. So the structure of the flat files is that so as printmakers, we end up with like just like a lot of art. There's a lot of trading that happens in print. We're very fortunate in that sense that, you know, we are constantly exchanging art with other people. And so we decided to go through our print drawers and start sharing the work of artists that we've collected or traded with, and then inviting guests to do the same, so that it's not just talking about us or talking about your work, but giving some time and space to other artists' work as well. So yeah. So we kind of go back and forth, like we'll show an art, you'll show an art, we'll show an art, you'll show an art. So if you want to start, you're welcome, or if you would like us to start, then we can totally do that.
It's guest choice.
Oh, yeah.
If you'd like to go first, or if
okay,
you'd like
you
us
guys
to
go first, because I don't know yet which I'm going to show. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we're going to start with this piece.
Ooh! Weird. I feel like it's right in here.
No, it's Andrew Kolb. He's I'm pretty sure he's in Toronto. He's definitely in Ontario. Illustrator. And this piece is part of a collection. We've shown work from this collection before, and we've actually had the creator of this like kind of series of works on flat files. So it's done by Ever11 Press, and it's called The Canadianist. So every year, Vincent, who runs Ever11 Press, puts out a collection of prints. So they're all letterpress. And they're done by a variety of different artists, and they sort of explore the idea of like Canada, being Canadian, things that they like about Canada, that kind of thing. And it's a limited edition series, and so the most recent one, I think that Vincent just released it this week. So we wanted to show Andrew's work because we love this print. It's one of the prints we have. And also kind of give a shout out to Vincent and the newest edition of this collection.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, so this one's really fun. It's got some metallic in it, so it's really like nice and shiny. And I don't know what actually all the like lettering is down at the bottom. I've kind of never really paid that much attention. But these are each labeled, so each of these little components that are coming out of the robot. So we have like 5-pin bowling, walkie-talkie, standard, invented in Canada. Oh my gosh, Chrissy, read this one little bit. So these are all the different things that have been invented in Canada.
That is awesome.
The egg carton, which is something I did not know. Did you know that the egg carton was invented in Canada?
I did not know that. Oh, it's back.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of eyeballs on it.
That is awesome.
Paint roller. Yeah, so Andrew's work is really cool. He has like books, and he's done like drawings for games and all sorts of like awesome stuff. So as a like creator, I would like highly recommend, like you can deep dive into his website for a really long period of time. And I was also searching him on YouTube today, and there's a little like draw along with him that I think the Globe and Mail put out, which is
that's
really
awesome.
fun.
Interesting. That does sound familiar.
Yeah. So yeah, beautiful piece, really love it. And yeah, Vince is just a great printer, so it's also, Vince is here. Hey Vince. Everybody should go to Ever11 Press's page and check out the new edition of The Canadianist, because I want all of them. They're gorgeous.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's our first share.
Oh, that was good, because I brought a bunch of stuff in here so I could like decide, but I'm gonna pick something that kind of goes with your theme then, of like kind of amazing.
Oh, we're losing her.
I had to ignore my Instagram limit. My friend Tristan makes sculptures. They're not Canadian necessarily, in what am I trying to say? They're just these really whimsical sculptures that do all sorts of artistic, bizarre things like water plants or whatever. So those are prototypes that I'll send you his link on Instagram because they're so cool. They're like these mythical like robots that just sort of like move around doing stuff. But then he just is a genius and makes other really pretty things. So I'll show his, I brought up, he just makes these sculptures that are so pretty. Just like,
oh wow,
so cool. Wait, guys, it's called flat files. Are they supposed to, everything's supposed to be 2D?
That's okay. We do sculptures as well. You're good. You're good.
My other stuff is 2D. But he's like
really
this
neat.
awesome artist. Oh, it's dusty because I just took it off from my like mantle downstairs. I'll show that.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
So simple, right? But they make you think of these weird magical worlds of like, I don't know, just
yeah. It's almost like they could be like space stations
exactly.
or something. There's something about them that make me feel like they're on the moon or something like that. I love it.
I really do feel like little robot space station things. Yeah.
Those are really cool.
Yeah, he's got really, like, he started off doing just these really cool sculptures. Like, we met him when he was making phonophones, which were like these gramophones that amplified like the first iPhone. So you'd stick your iPhone in and it would like in old-fashioned manner amplify it. Yeah, so really cool. What else did I get on him? He looks well. So cool. Yeah, we met him in the park one day when he was he's like my only friend that I've just like met by walking into him in the park. He was it was also an art project. They were like they invented this society called the Royal Society of Adventurology and just did weird art happenings. And so one day we were just walking by Trinity Bellwoods Park and there were all these people dressed in old-timey clothes with a gramophone and scones playing this like weird made-up game of bike polo. And that's when I met this guy. He just became one of our really good friends because we're like, who are you? We want to know you.
That's amazing.
So I'll send you his link on Instagram.
That's a great story.
Oh, those are fantastic. I really love stuff like that. Like that, it's like Winnie had a lot of like ceramics and just when you can like hold a sculpture in your hand and like, I don't know, just feels like playful and fun and engaging, which I really love when art has that.
I always just hold this rock that my son left in here, but it's actually nicer to hold this one.
Yeah, it's just so good. Is it made out of wood? What's the material?
Just wood, and then he's painted it so just simply and nicely. And I love the colors. Those are like my two favorite colors. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the scale of it's really, really wonderful. I think because it's so small and so delicate that it feels like an architectural model at like an incredibly small reduced size.
I love it. This one's cool too.
That is great.
Those are very adorable.
So again, we'll just keep riffing off of each other. So this next one, I'm like really fingers crossed hoping that it can come across on this
We're gonna try our best.
format because it is just an embossment. Maybe turn that. Yeah, Kyle, that's better.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So this piece is super hard. This is like one of the ones that sits in the flat files because it's hard to frame and it's hard to see really. So it's one that I like to just hold and experience kind of up close.
Maybe two.
Turn the other. Yeah. We're just gonna keep turning lights off until we can see it really
There's
well.
no color. It's just paper embossment. Okay.
Okay, there we go. So this is an embossed piece by Rebecca Rothfus Carroll. I hope, Rebecca, I'm saying the new last name correctly. We met her when she was just two names. So she's in Texas, in Austin, I'm pretty sure. Cool. And she stayed with us at the residency when we first moved to the house that we're in now. So it's been quite a while. And her work really is like kind of an exploration of infrastructure. So buildings, bridges, towers, all those kinds of sorts of things. So when you look out our window across our property, there's a cell tower in one of the farmers' fields. So that's what this is here. And then this is kind of like the landscape on the bottom, and then just sort of like this radiating like cell tower kind of, I don't know, sound wave that's kind of exploding out of the cell tower. And so maybe Kyle, you can explain the process a bit better of embossing, because I think that you actually helped her a lot more than I did with this.
So with embossment, Like it's just a sheet of paper. We don't have like any ink on this. And what she did was she took like kind of a sheet of cardboard and then started cutting out other sheets of cardboard into like little shapes and gluing them together and creating this kind of topographical printing plate. And then when you run the paper and this like kind of topographical plate together through the press, you get all this embossment. So like this is like the backside, so we have a debossment.
So cool. Well, so what kind of press do you use to do that? You just...
We used an etching press to push this all together, but like, so it's like these two cylinders and a bed that's sandwiched between the two cylinders and a bunch of blankets. And so when you stack all the things up on top, you have a metal press bed, your plate, your paper, felt blankets, and then it all gets squished through these two rollers, and the pressure will like deform the paper, and it'll hold a lot of detail. Like I could, in this like little tiny cell phone tower, you can see that there's like all of these different little layers that come with it.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see like in the you know, iPad camera, but there's different, like she used different depths of cardboard. So this is a really pretty extreme embossment, but then like this right here is much more subtle. And then there's an even more subtle. So it was just like layers and layers of different types of cardboard. Like some of it was matte board, some of it was like, you know, a cereal box.
So cool. What, sorry, what's it called? Like, what would you call that?
We just call it embossment, okay. But I don't know if it has like a more technical
do that. But of course, it just makes total sense.
Yeah, it's a fun. I mean, the you can do these kinds of plates, and they're called collagraphs. So if she would have like inked that up,
I guess it is a collagraph.
It is, yeah, technically, I guess a collagraph plate, because that's when you're taking some kind of substrate and then you're adhering different materials to it and turning that into your printing plate. But a lot of times with collagraph, you're going to be inking that up to either make like a relief or an etching, depending on like what you're putting onto the plate. But she just didn't put any color into it, which just makes it this like gorgeous, subtle embossment. I just like, this is such a cherished piece, and it was so beautiful watching it be made because she's very meticulous and careful, and this very considerate of the forms that she was using. And yeah, it was really like a lovely experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's share number 2. Thumbs up indeed.
Oh, someone gave you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
This is cool. Okay, now I'm gonna I kind of had a plan. Okay, I think I'm gonna show this.
Sometimes people show more than 3, so if you have more than 3 that you're excited about.
I ended up like getting some new pieces during the pandemic because like everyone's doing this artist challenge. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, I want to. This is like where I never like allow myself to buy art, but I'm like, this is the time to do it because people need you to buy it. So I bought a couple pieces during this time that I love. But I think so I thought I was going to show them, but I actually think so. I love this artist, and my husband saw it when I got it framed, and he was like, "Did one of our kids do that?" And, he is a very sophisticated person, but when you see it. So I think it's cool to show her because I found her on Instagram. Her name's Tara Brady, and
that is fantastic.
And it's hard for me to talk at the same time, but the reason I found her is because she did this beautiful painting of a woman trying to pee in a jumpsuit, and I think like 15 different friends of mine sent it to me. I'm exaggerating, but maybe like 5 different friends sent it to me because I wear a lot of jumpsuits. So as soon as they saw this like it was being shared around the internet, it was just like, you know, 3 different versions of her, and you see her like in her jumpsuit, and then she goes to sit on the toilet, and it's like how to pee in a jumpsuit. So like all my friends had sent it to me because I'm wearing a jumpsuit right now, and I guess they're just like, this really unattractively peeing image, not unattractive, she's like very cute, but like this awkward peeing experience reminds us of you, Sarah. And so this is how I found this artist, because as soon as I saw it, it was like, that is me. I basically wish I had made that painting. And then I started following her, and I love her. And yeah, so normally she sells prints, but sometimes she's like, I love also, she just like really vocal about all the things she's struggling with in life, and she's just like a character that you love on Instagram, and she sometimes sells original pieces. So I don't know, this one I loved, so I bought it. So
That is awesome. So what is it done with it? Is it like a watercolor?
I think I read that she uses gouache. It looks like gouache to me. Like, it looks like, I think she uses the same stuff that I use, which is like acrylic gouache. You know, it's sort of like that mixture. Okay. It's that
no, what color is mixture?
Yeah, I don't use
it's the best paint in the world. But the only problem is that it dries up pretty quickly. Oh yeah, oh, this one's dry if you don't use it really fast. I don't know why, but yeah, it's like a mixture. I think she uses watercolor a lot too. I've seen her post pictures of her watercolor palette. Yeah, she's pretty awesome, so I recommend her.
I feel like we've bought more art in the pandemic than we ever had before.
Oh, really?
As well, which is like also, well, I feel like when you don't go anywhere and you're not like participating in events,
we trade art a lot. Then we don't really buy art because like we trade.
That's cool. I guess that's the luxury of printmaking. That's so awesome. Because I find that when people do are like, oh, maybe, oh my god, that's like 2 weeks that I need to find. So yeah.
No, it's been nice, and it's fun getting art in the mail. I was like, one of them we actually just dropped off. We bought a beautiful book from another Flat Files participant and past resident. She showed one of her newest zines, Rukyung, and I was like, I have to have that. So we bought that off her, and she was like, we're gonna go for a drive and we'll just drop it off. She lives in Toronto. And so just one day in the studio, like adorable little package.
That is awesome.
But then like getting art in the mail has been really enjoyable too. So yeah. Okay, so I will say our next share is a proof. So this isn't like a final print. Just because like Mackenzie's work is very, very meticulous, and like a main focus for him is to like push himself in the print shop and like really hone his craft and his technique. So there's a chance that he's going to be like, why did you show improve? Because like he is like, it's a very important part of his process, but we don't own a final piece. So I don't have one of the like finished works to show. So Mackenzie, I want to show your work. So this is all I have. If you want me to show a final piece, you can mail me an art book.
Oh, it's amazing.
Drop it off.
So no, keep that light on. The colors are more accurate. So this is a screen print. It is a multi-layer screen print. Again, I'll probably have Kyle explain more the like technical part of it because he's better at like talking about print technique.
This is a screen print. It is 4 different colors, but optically the colors mix together and give you all these different colors. So what's happening here is that, let's see if we can actually, I don't know if...
Oh yeah, that's working.
Can you see these like little dot patterns? So this is called this is your cyan, yellow, magenta, and black separation, CMYK separation. So how like everything is like printed, like if you order a magazine and you look really closely, all the color photos are printed off of CMYK, just dots. And how close those dots are together and how big those dots are together and the proximity changes the color. So if you have more yellow and more red, you'll get a pinkier or a redder one, and you can have all the different colors in the rainbow. So Mackenzie has broken down this like full color image into 4 different layers, cyan, yellow, magenta, and black, and he's printed them using screen print. So what we have here is like actually really fun because like I'm a Photoshop nerd, and if you see like down here, like he's playing with that like transparent background in Photoshop, but he's actually printing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Mackenzie is Mackenzie Green. I'm pretty sure Mackenzie is in the States now, but originally from Canada.
No, they're back.
Oh, they're back? Oh, okay.
Sorry, you guys are doing a really good job of explaining process and history. I will do that with the next one.
We try. I mean, we are sort of like, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. If I know the process, then I'll explain it. But there's been a few where I'm like, I'm not really sure what's going on here.
Like, what's fun and neat about this is because it's a proof.
The registration? What is that?
He would have chopped off the top of it. So this is called punch registration. So when you print like screen print and you print analog, you print each color individually, as opposed to like an inkjet printer that will
Yeah.
print cyan, yellow, magenta, and black all at once. Screen printing, you have to print one thing at a time. So with screen print, you'll just print that cyan dots to start, and you print just cyan, and then you move on, you print yellow, and you print magenta, and then you print black, and that registration becomes incredibly important. So between the first color and the second color, as you change out screens, you have to re-register the screen. And this helps by when you, it's a long process of screen print. When you are registering up for like colors in screen print, you print the very first initial color onto a piece of mylar or clear plastic, so that you can slide your paper underneath the plastic and register your paper to be exactly where those dots should fall. You take the plastic off, and then you would tape down this thing that has the corresponding opposites. So like they're like little raised discs, and that gets taped to the table, and that determines like this is like the paper will never ever be differently registered. So you can imagine like trying to like, you're screen printing this thing, it's always landing in the exact same place, but you're putting down a new piece of paper every time, and you need to make sure that piece of paper is going down exactly to like the fraction of a millimeter in the exact same spot. So this technique is called punch registration, and so it's essentially you register it once and you tape down this metal bar that has the discs on it, and so you can pop your paper every time. And so that, you know, between your first print, your second, your third, your 50th, your 100th, that paper has gone down in the exact same space every single time.
Yeah.
Incredibly accurate registration once it gets set up and going.
And Mackenzie is like very meticulous. So he'll be like, he's like Kyle, like they look through a loop down at their paper to make sure that everything is landing exactly where it's supposed to be. But what he does afterwards, so a lot of his work is like, he grew up in like the countryside, but he's been like living in sort of like suburbia for a long time.
I love the gradient.
So a lot of his work is like playing with the idea of like what would be maybe like more natural nature, and then the idea of like kind of contrived nature in like a suburban or urban landscape. So he'll like create these beautiful installations using his prints. This particular series was turned into a collection of books. So handmade art books that like accordioned out into all these different variations. I'll find pictures of those to share in the stories afterwards. But just like, you know, he goes above and beyond. So not only is the like screen printing super fussy and delicate and careful and meticulous, but then like what he does with those screen prints after is like a whole another level of like, just, I don't know, he just pushes the practice to like the extreme all of the time. Yeah, it's just like really
and time consuming, and like why I only took one course.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
very cool. Green.
Awesome work.
Oh, and I have to show. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, painting or photo?
Why don't you do both? Do the painting and then the photo.
Okay, I'll do the photo. It's here. I brought it up anyway. Cool. We were painting our living room, so I took all the art off the walls, and then I was like, I'm not gonna actually take this piece that's been on my in my living room for like 12 years, and I know that because this is like one of the first pieces, it's covered in dust, sorry, that I ever bought, because I curated a show for the first Nuit Blanche in 2006.
Oh, cool.
And at the time, like everyone was new to the internet and had these like photo blogs, or like where they would, I was part of this group of people who would just like post a photo a day on, I didn't post a photo a day, I had a blog, but then like the few people in Toronto who were Toronto photo bloggers would post a photo a day. And one of them was this girl who I loved her photos, named Gayla Trail. And so I asked all these like bloggers I'd never met to be in the show at the Beaver, which is like a now closed restaurant on Queen West. And it was called Midnight Snack, and they all had to make art about eating at night. And all her photos were super haunting, and she made this time lapse of the CNE. And then after the show, oh sorry, can you see it?
There we go.
There we go. And then after the show, I bought it from her because I loved it. and she kind of like made up her own weird printing technique. Like it's like, it looks like encaustic, but she printed it and then made up her own way of kind of sealing it. So it isn't an encaustic. It's like a photo mounted on wood with like layers of, and I'm probably getting it wrong, with like layers of not encaustic, like wax or stuff over it. Anyway, yeah. So
Oh, cool.
I just like, it's got that style of like Toronto from years ago that I remember when people used Instagram to like take retro photos. like, you know what I mean? And like put like,
I totally
like
do
filters
know
on
you.
it, and and I just like really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, glowing, and I think that process of mounting is like, yeah, bringing some kind of like, I don't know, almost like you said, like haunting, like a little bit of a creepy atmosphere,
Because
which
it's the
I
CME, which
really
is
like
super
it.
crowded. And I think, okay, I'm going to get this wrong because it's so long ago, but I feel like it was like an hour-long time lapse. And there were actually like hundreds of people there walking by. But the only person who actually
Really?
stays in place is the like person who's like moving around there, like the server of the funnel cakes. But like,
Oh,
yeah,
weird. It's that absence
the
of people
absence
in
of
the scene. I
people,
like that.
very COVID appropriate.
Oh my
Oddly.
gosh, yeah, it is. That is kind of creepy. So in the show, did you? Hey, Kathy, we're drinking your coffee right now. I'm assuming that maybe that's Um, if you haven't tried,
He left me
coffee,
some.
you
So
should.
good.
We'll do a little
So
plug.
good. Some product
Yeah,
placement.
it is. Yeah. I'm actually wearing a coffee please sweater right now. It wasn't planned. But was the time lapse showing in the exhibition? Like, was it like on a?
No. It was just
it
that
projected
actual
or
photo.
something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's cool. I like that a lot. I love like images of fairs and stuff though. I have like a strange fascination with like carnivals and fairs, even
Me
though
too.
yeah, I do. I really there's something about them. I don't know if it's like they're usually in like the time of year that I really like, which is fall, because it's like kind of like that harvest time and people are eating really good food and they're getting ready to like sort of hunker down by themselves. So they're trying to like be around people as much as possible. And so there's like I don't know, like a buzziness about it that I really like. But I also like sugary foods like cotton candy and like taffy, which you
Donuts.
can't really justify just you don't like buy cotton candy for yourself at
Speak
home.
for yourself. Yeah. No, I like hate fairs, but I love the fair aesthetic. like I actually hate the CNE, but I love any kitschy print of like.
I think the CNE is a bit different than like
Yeah.
small town fair.
Fairs,
I've never been to the
I've only been
CNE.
once.
No, the CNE is
Yeah.
crazy. It's like, I don't think you would like it. I
Probably
think that
not.
there would be too many people for you. Whereas like Picton Fair is much more your
Fair
speed.
sounds
Yeah, it's just like light and cute. Although I went like on rides last time that there was an actual fair here, and I was like, no, don't ever want to do that again. I'm definitely I've passed the age of this being an enjoyable experience. I think I went on with my nieces, and I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah. I can't even go on swings anymore.
Guess what?
Yeah.
The Gravitron is not fun when you're not.
That's what I was wondering. I mean, I used to love it, but I feel like I would actually die if I went on one now. Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels too long, and like it's just the same experience for longer than it needs to be. But kids love it, and I like watching them excited about things. So like that's nice. And when you're the aunt, you kind of have to do stuff like that because the parents are like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Your aunt will go with you, and you're like, fine, I will.
Cool
I'll
aunt
do
and
it.
uncle.
Yeah. But yeah, those are our 3 shares. I really loved those sculptures. I think those might have been my favorites.
I'm gonna tell him. I should have tagged him on here. I don't know how to do that, but I'll tag him.
He can see the flat file afterwards on
Instagram. Yeah, we'll keep it up so that you can like still see it, and we'll share it on the story so people can check in. And then we also post them to our Patreon page like after, we say a week, but usually they end up staying on our Instagram feed for like almost a month because it takes us a long time to like get things together.
We eventually end up on Patreon.
Yeah. And then they're going to live there for the time being. And yeah, so that they can still be viewed by the people that follow us there. And yeah, and we share all of the links to everybody in that as well. So that there's like that information, because that's important for people to know who we're talking about and how to find them and how to support their work themselves, because that's, you know, a big part of what we want to have happen is people to keep supporting artists and, you know, liking their work and buying their work, even though it's a pandemic.
It's great. I love that.
Yeah. So thanks so much for joining us. This was
Thanks
wonderful.
for having me. And it was really nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
It's weird. I feel like it's hard to have an intimate conversation, but there's not that many other people like coming in and out. It's just that like we're having like an intimate conversation, but other people might be listening.
Yeah.
Anyway, I liked it.
The joys of Instagram.
Yeah.
No, well, hopefully, you know, there'll be a time again when we can like actually meet with people in real life and we can connect, and you know, maybe you can come to the county and we can all hang out and talk as real people and not behind the screen.
When this long nightmare is over.